One thing keeping us on the edge of our seats this year is the ever-expanding, adapting and evolving formats to the Formula 1 season. This season is no different as we're eagerly waiting for the new sprint format to be unveiled at the Baku GP, a development which seemed to be a red flag for Red Bull as both Christian Horner and Max Verstappen have been very vocal about it. One of them is even willing to throw in the towel. Stay tuned to find out who.
For the sprint, it's lights out and away we go, and I think Verstappen got a better start than Lewis Hamilton.
2021 saw the first talks of introducing a sprint race, a novel concept in the sport but one that was generally welcomed. McLaren CEO Zak Brown acknowledged that development and evolution is a necessary part of the sport and that with regards to the sprint race, they should learn, see what we think and what would we tweak. And tweaking is exactly what FIA CEO Stefano Domenicali has done as we anticipate a new sprint race format to the F1 season premiering at Baku GP. Domenicali believes that the people in the stands come to see power and performance. It's not because we don't respect the traditions, but it would be wrong not to think about it. We also have a new generation that are coming in that are more aggressive in asking for something different. The new format is that the sprint race no longer affects the main race, allowing drivers to give their all in both races to earn maximum points. Under the new sprint race format, the top 8 finishers in the sprint race will receive points which are awarded in descending order from 8 points for first place to 1 point for 8th place. This change to the points system adds an extra incentive for drivers to perform well in the sprint race, which takes place on Saturday. The schedule for a sprint weekend has also been updated to accommodate the new format. On Friday, there will be a practice session followed by qualifying for Sunday's race. On Saturday, however, there will be a sprint qualifying session to determine the sprint starting grid, followed by the sprint race itself. Finally, on Sunday, the main race, such as the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, will be held. This change has been welcomed by many drivers and team principals, as the second free practice session was often seen as unnecessary and did not contribute much to the overall racing experience. Welcomed by many, but not by all, it would seem. Christian Horner, Red Bull Racing team principal, has expressed his concerns about running the alternate weekend format on the street layout in Baku. He believes that the narrow track, coupled with high speeds, could lead to some dangerous situations. The reality is, it's absolutely ludicrous to be doing the first sprint race of the year in a street race like Azerbaijan. Expressing his financial concerns from a cost gap perspective, he says, "All you can do is trash your car, and it costs a lot of money around there, so one race is enough in Baku. The fact that we've got 2, despite Horner's concerns, he agrees that, I think from a spectacle point of view, from a fan point of view, it's probably going to be one of the most exciting sprint races of the year." The rest of the team principals, however, seem to be fully on board. So again, we have Horner having a whinge about the cost cap, no surprises there. For once, I think all the teams were aligned. It's not very often that is the case, so we have to jump on it, Ferrari team principal Vazir said. The format is more dynamic, and you can discuss about doing it so late, but at the end of the day, I think if we're all aligned, then we have to push for it. Toto Wolff has spoken out about the new sprint race format and the importance of maintaining the appeal of the sport, and how he still wants it to evolve. Wolff, however, compared the approach to the new format to the use of a baseball bat, which he believes is too blunt and could harm the sport's appeal. Instead, he suggested a more precise approach, likening it to the use of a Stanley knife, which would allow for more carefully considered changes. But Wolff maintains that whatever Stefano decides is good. I think he will have all the data on the table, what is good for the audiences, what is good for the brand. Günther Steiner, Haas team principal, is also happy with the changes. Stefano put a little bit more of his vision out there for the future because that is what he has to do for FOM. Have a vision. Where are we going? Said Steiner, who then went on to say it would be much cooler. We definitely agree with Steiner and cannot wait to see the chaos unfold in the sprint race. It's definitely an exciting move for F1. Now, onto the men behind the wheel. Almost all drivers are excited about the new format. Lewis Hamilton has embraced the idea of having a second qualifying session and has described it as super fun. He has also already started to think about ways to make the most of the new sprint race format. He believes that the sprint races offer an exciting opportunity for drivers to try new strategies and tactics, and he is eager to experiment with different approaches in the upcoming races. "I do think we constantly need to be evolving and assessing what we're doing," said Hamilton, speaking to the press in Melbourne. "I'm open to changes to continue to make it more inclusive and more engaging for the fans."
In his pursuit of victory, George Russell to the checkered flag wins the Sao Paulo sprint.
George Russell, who won the last sprint race in Brazil last year, was in agreement with fans who believed there was excessive practice taking place. "I don't think it's right that Formula 1 has 3 times the amount of practice that you have in F3 and F2, said Russell. "This is still the pinnacle of the sport, and you don't want to be just left with a car that you created at the start of the year with no opportunity to try out new things." Nick de Vries, AlphaTauri rookie, shared his perspective on the matter, suggesting that 1 practice session should be sufficient. "I think in all junior series, we've been used to actually only doing 1 free practice session, so I think we could do with less," said the Dutchman. But again, someone else in the Red Bull paddock has not been quiet. Of course, we're talking about the other Dutch driver, Max Verstappen, who is not happy and threatening that if there are to be more changes in F1, he won't be around for too long. Verstappen expressed his dislike towards the activity and commented that when they engage in such activities, the weekend becomes very intense as they already participate in a lot of races. He further added that this is not the appropriate way to proceed. "I understand they want to make every day at the track exciting, but they should reduce the weekend and only race on Saturday and Sunday and make those 2 days exciting." The 2-time world champion mentioned that they are entering a period where they may have up to 24 or 25 races, and adding more races would not be worthwhile for him as he would not enjoy it. He also added that even if the format is changed, he does not believe that it is in Formula 1's DNA to introduce sprint races of this kind. F1 is about getting the most out of it in qualifying and have an amazing Sunday over a long race distance. That is the DNA of the sport, and I don't understand why we need to change that. Sky Sports' Martin Brundle doesn't seem too concerned about the Dutchman's threats, saying, "I would be surprised, but if he doesn't want to drive, if there are a million other people who want to drive that Red Bull." However, not all in the Red Bull ring are anti-change. According to recent reports, Helmut Marko, Red Bull advisor, is not particularly concerned about the prospect of losing the 3rd free practice session of the weekend at the upcoming Azerbaijan Grand Prix. In fact, Marko seems to view the changes as a potential opportunity for his team. As a veteran of the sport, Marko is well aware of the importance of careful planning and preparation in Formula 1. He believes that by eliminating the 3rd practice session, teams like Red Bull will have more time to focus on strategy and analysis, which could ultimately give them an edge over their rivals. It makes the sprint race more exciting because you can risk more. In the old situation, you are at the back on Sunday if you drop out on Saturday. As the first sprint race of the year approaches, all eyes will be on the drivers as they take to the track and put the new format to the test. With Hamilton and other top drivers eager to embrace the changes, it promises to be an exciting and unpredictable race. Are you loving or hating the new sprint race format? Let us know.